Welcome in, everyone. Welcome to Science and Magic. My name is Amanda Helen, and I am so happy to be here with you today. If you have been enjoying my content, definitely hit the bell because I always live stream. I can't think of the last time I pre-recorded a video, to be honest. So if you want to catch me live and interact with me and ask questions, hit that bell, you'll get notified. I love to talk about feminine embodiment, working deliciously. I love talking about nervous system care and how to honor these beautiful bodies that we're in, and at the same time, do the work that we want to do in the world. Today, we're going to be talking about feminine lightness. And honestly, in a world that is so heavy and so dense, to offer this lightness through our bodies, through our presence, and to be the peace, to be the ease, to be the breath of fresh air in the world is such a gift. Please give this video a like right away and definitely interact in the chat, ask questions, say hello. So happy that you're here. So there's two different ways that we can go about talking about feminine lightness. I look up definitions, you all know this. I love to just explore words. The first definition is light, of relatively little weight, not heavy. So it's the opposite of heaviness. It has to do with weight. The second definition is electromagnetic radiation that can be detected by the human eye. So it's more visual in nature. It has to do with seeing. So it's a lightness in feeling and in presence and in like physical matter versus a light visually, like starlight, candlelight, moonlight, sunlight, like something you can detect with the eyes. So the first way we're going to talk about feminine lightness would be in that visual capacity, like as light, as actual light form. And our bodies are made up of stardust. So I love talking about this. I also mentioned feminine radiance because radiance is an aspect of feminine energy. The definition of radiant is emitting heat or light, filled with shining light, brightly shining. So it's about emitting that light, showing that light, giving off the energy of light. So feminine light versus masculine light. Let's talk about that. Masculine light is the light that comes from the sun. So it's generated on its own and it is powerful. Often when we think of light, we think of this kind of light. It is really intense and it almost can hurt the eyes depending on the brightness of the day. And you're definitely not supposed to stare directly at this sort of light. You often need sunscreen to have a degree of protection from the light because it's so powerful. And the sun is very healing. It gives off a lot of energy, a lot of powerful energy that can be generated through the body that can help you to do the things that you want to do in the world. Okay, feminine light is light that's reflected. So that's the light of the moon. The moon receives the light of the sun and then lights up the night sky, and that light is glowing over the earth. Or it is the light that flows through water, and because of that, it is maybe emanated off of an ocean, like the beautiful moonlight off of the ocean. It's a reflective light, or light that flows through like water droplets and creates prisms and rainbows. I love this analogy because when I think of feminine light, I think of the light of rainbows, like the light reflecting off water. And that's the sort of light to radiate. It's like a glow. It is easy to be enjoyed. It's soft, it's very beautiful, but it radiates, feminine light radiates only because it receives and reflects light from a source, from the sun. There's a quote I wanted to share by the mystic poet Hafiz. I love it. It says, even after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, you owe me. Look what happens with a love like that. It lights up the whole sky. Even after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, you owe me. Look what happens with a love like that. It lights the whole sky. So that's that masculine energy of generosity, of generating inner power, of gifting it. And because of that gift, it's reflected off of these feminine forms and creates a reflection of beauty, of radiance, of softness, of glow. And feminine radiance is what we are going to center this conversation on, becoming that sort of light. So, feminine radiance is a sort of glow in the body that comes from being provided for. So, all of your basic needs are met. This could be from a partner, this could be from yourself, but you are provided for. The feminine energy in you is provided for so that it can glow, being protected and held. So feminine energy is not going to radiate, it's not going to be light, it's not going to glow and glitter if it's in survival mode. From being nourished, from taking care of yourself deeply, profoundly, from drinking delicious, hydrating beverages, from eating nutritious foods, being nourished from the inside out. And then being in overflow and in luxury. The moon is in an overflow of light. It has so much light from the sun that it can light up the night sky and give us that gift of glow in the dark. So this sort of polarity can show up in all sorts of ways. And the most direct example, of course, is in a partnership with a lot of polarity, but it can also show up with like, are you creating systems in your life where you are provided for? Is your, masculine provider your business or your career or your work? And that's giving you the resources to feel safe and protected so that you can rest and feel a glow. Now, obviously, that sort of provision wouldn't be something that drains your energy and it wouldn't be too much, but it could be in the example of a partnership where the masculine identified partner is providing fully of the resources, the bills, the shelter, and in excess of, even the wardrobe and the massages and the gym membership or the yoga membership. And because of that, his feminine partner is glowing from the inside out. And this is not just about being groomed and having the hair done and the nails done, but healthy and rested. There's not dark circles under the eyes. There's not a tight jaw because she's not clenched up, but she's really relaxed. She's provided for emotionally and physically, and she's rested and she's in her feminine light. She's in her feminine radiance. So this would be a really direct example of that. Things that we can do to resonate with this sort of light, with this sort of glow, aside from, letting yourself receive those sort of gifts from your partner, if that's available to you, would be to meditate on light. So, literally, I have a candle glowing in the background here. You can do a meditation where you look at the light, you gaze at it as if it's gazing back at you, and you receive that light from the candle and you center your focus on it and you let its codes infuse into your being. So you can meditate with light. You can go out into the night sky and literally let the moonlight saturate on your cheekbones, on your skin. If it's cold out and you don't want to do that, I don't want to step outside right now. You could close your eyes and feel this imagery of moonlight, completely grazing your skin, infusing into your organs, saturating your eyes, letting you sparkle from the inside out. So meditating with that moonlight, you could meditate with the imagery of a rainbow, or if a rainbow happens outside, wherever you're at, like sit with it, look at it, say hello to the rainbow, receive the rainbow and receive those codes in every cell of your body. And maybe there's a specific type of light that resonates with you most. Actually, in my course, Nervous System of a Goddess, Level 2 Glow, I have 2 meditations in there as of now. And one of them is attuning with rainbow light. It's so good. It's so juicy because I think, often when we think of light, we think of like this typical light of the candlelight or the golden light of the sun. But really, light can be in different hues. So you can have light that's pink and fuchsia. You can have light that's green. You can have light that's blue. And these different light forms actually light up our energy system, our chakras. And so we are prismatic light as well. We're different shades and colors and tones. So when we start to think of ourselves as emanating light, it's less of that abrasive sunlight as a feminine being, and it's more of this, what's the light like through water? And this is so beautiful because water is very, very feminine. So when the light generated from the sun, that masculine light, flows through water, feminine, it creates rainbows, different colors of light. Feel free to say hi in the chat if you're tuning in. Please give this video a like. And I'll also continue to add to this course because I'm so inspired by this concept. So I'm looking at different Qigong practices too, and there's one drinking moonlight that I'm really inspired by. So I was thinking of adding something to that effect into the portal to continue to can you drink in light? Can you drink in light and can you emanate that light into the world? And the other thing you can do is call in your sun. Like if you want to express more feminine light, more feminine energy, where are you receiving and reflecting that light from? Yes, we do have masculine energy in us and we each have our own suns, but what sort of sun do you want to call into your field? Like, do you want it to be in partnership? Do you want it to be a business that you create? Like, how do you want to feel when you're receiving and reflecting that light? And what sort of light do you want to receive and reflect? And doing some work around that and reflection around that. So this is the first piece of feminine lightness, is that actual visual representation of light, and not just light of the sun, but light that's reflected, light that is in different colors, and really attuning to what sort of light feels natural to you to reflect as a feminine essence being. So the second piece, my notes here, is a lightness and presence. So this is not being heavy. Before I talk about this, I do want to share about my course. So I have a program called Nervous System of a Goddess. Level 1 is all about softening your energy, softening your physical body, having a softer presence, not bracing into life. And a lot of that has to do with nervous system care, education, with nervous system support. The second level is called Glow, and that is more touching on the topic that we're talking about today. Once you are able to soften and relax and know what it's like to be calm and at peace, then you can start to drink in that light. You can start to connect into your heart a bit easier, and you can start to radiate beauty and radiate. And it's like a beauty, your natural God-given beauty, radiate from the inside out into the world. And so when you glow, when you are lit up, you can begin to attract the things that you want to attract easily, because feminine energy is that of being, it's that of radiating, it's that of magnetism. When you think of the sperm and the sperm swims to the egg is sitting there, the egg is just waiting, the egg is radiating. And once you're able to tap into your heart energy, to take care of yourself, and to really attune to light, your natural beauty will start to flow through, and your aura will be more harmonic, will be more attuned to love. You'll have more life-giving essence in your presence, and masculine energy will be drawn to you. Opportunities will be drawn to you. Friends and relationships will be drawn to you that all match those codes. So it all just happens with ease. And as a society, we've been really programmed to think we have to work hard to get those things. It's not about working, it's about relaxing. It's about, which it can be hard to unwind and it can be hard to relax, especially if we don't feel safe, which is why it's really important to go through level 1 first. And that level 2 is like, okay, can I have that radiance? And I believe that if you're a feminine essence being, there's a deep part of you that wants to glow, that wants to have that radiance, that wants to be a breath of fresh air that turns heads when you walk into a room. Doesn't matter how much success that you have in the external world. Many of my clients are extremely successful in their careers. I find that if you're a feminine essence being, a feminine woman, if you reach that level of success, you're still not satisfied if you're not connected to your feminine energy. If you don't have that ability to walk into a room and be seen in your radiance, to be connected to your radiance. And this world needs that. We need more people who are attuned to beauty and attuned to radiance, because beauty is really the frequency of harmony and the frequency of love. That creates beauty. Harmony and love create coherent energy patterns, coherent face features, coherent, healthy body expression, all of it. So you tell I'm very passionate about this, but I do have them in order of level 1, soften first, and level 2, glow second. If you want, you can purchase level 2 glow. Of course, you're your own sovereign being. You can go through the process as you're inspired. But I do actually have a bundle, which I'm going to add into the chat right now, that you can buy both of them together for a little bit of a discount. So you can do that bundle if you want, or, start with level 1. You can click on level 1 from that bundle and just buy that if you want. So, okay, we'll get back to the part 2 of lightness. So remember that definition was of having weight. So light of relatively little weight, not heavy. When I think of light, I think of not being burdened. And the definition of burden is something that is emotionally difficult to bear, a source of great worry or stress, something that is carried. Burden feels heavy. Burden feels like my shoulders are pulling down, like my heart is heaving forward, like I have a really hard time moving. And masculine energy is that of holding that weight. Masculine energy is burdened because there is that hunt, there is that striving to push through challenge, there is that perseverance involved. So if you're burdened, if you are kind of more heavy, if you're strong, I mean, masculine and feminine energy are both strong, but we're talking about feminine lightness here. You aren't expressing that feminine lightness. So when thinking of emotional resonance, I touched a bit about this in my live earlier this week about the importance of moving through shadows in the manifestation process. So definitely view that video. I will be sure to link it below in the description. But when you are carrying these low resonant emotions in your field, you're burdened, and you bring that burden to the world, then masculine energy is even more burdened, if that makes sense. So, what are low resonant emotions? Dr. David Hawkins wrote the book Letting Go and Power versus Force, and he categorized different emotions on different energy scales through the use of kinesiology and muscle testing. So different emotions calibrate with different frequencies and create different attractor patterns around the body. So the lowest vibration emotion is shame. for example, that calibrates at, I don't have the exact number, but let's just say it calibrates at like 55, right? And then anger, for example, would be a little bit higher, have a little bit more energy to it, and that would be categorized in more of, let's say, the 200. Don't mark me on the exact numbers of this. You can get the book if you want to and look at it. And so it's a little bit higher than shame, but it's still on that lower frequency attractor pattern. And then even higher than that would be courage. You step into courage. And from courage, you can get into love, into peace, which are lower, or higher frequency attractor patterns. So it means there's more energy and less density. And it's this idea that this field around us attracts more of those things. And how we are in our body is emanated from the emotions that we're experiencing. So what does this mean? Do we only strive to be in these emotions of love and peace and joy? And of course, that's not realistic, right? But I will say you can get there more if you can process through the remnants of the lower vibration emotional patterns that are in your field. So it's not by ignoring them, it's about processing through them, listening to them, working through the trauma, getting support. And I think that these are immense gifts and they're an immense part of the human experience. But do you want to resonate at the field of apathy or grief or anger as a part of your identity? No, probably not. Will you feel them as a human, as a feminine being? Yes. And so view that video where I talk about how to move through those things and how to address them and how to attend to them and why it's important to process shadows, to process the lower resonant emotions. So our energy field can be burdened by these things if we don't attend to them. And that can result in a heaviness that is the opposite of feminine lightness. When I think of that light feeling, that light and playful, I connect into my inner innocent little girl. So I think of myself as a child and how delighted that I was in life and how playful I was and how imaginative I was and how worry-free I was because my parents carried the burden of survival. They carried the burden of putting the roof over my head, the burden of, putting food on the table. And I was able to play and to delight and not worry about those things. I also hadn't had much life experience. So I was unburdened by memories, by traumas, by situations. I wasn't carrying that stuff with me. I was light, I was playful, and I was delightful. So when you think of feminine lightness, it's not being weighted down by the weight of the world. It's not carrying that with you. Like, yes, we all have experiences that have been hard that we've gone through. We're all carrying a lot. The world's not easy, right? But if you can really bring your energy into the present moment and see things for what they are right now, and just really, really be present in this moment, typically it can be pretty light. Like for me right now, I can look out my window and these beautiful snowflakes are just falling from the sky. And they're so light, it's so peaceful, it's so quiet. So I can choose to be burdened by this and say, oh, I don't want winter. I don't want to be cold, which isn't true. I like winter and I like the cold. But I could, and I hear this a lot living in Minnesota, as people feel really burdened by the winter. They feel really heavy. Or I can choose to look at that through the eyes of a child. So I have my little baby, and he's amazed by snowflakes. And I can look out and see, wow, it's like a snow globe. It's magic. It's stunning. It's God's gift. That's light energy. That's play energy. And I'll never forget, I was in Mexico years ago on a vacation on the beach, and there was this mother running around with her little child, and she seemed like she was a child herself, the way her body was moving. She must have been, I don't know, in her mid-30s or something, but she had this energy of lightness and play and delight. And I still remember her because it was such a gift to witness. She wasn't watching her child play, she was becoming this child and playing with her child and embodying this not being burdened by life in the moment. She was completely present with the sand, with, whatever game she was playing with her child, and just running and giggling and laughing. Now that's feminine lightness. That's a gift that makes us pause and just breathe and take it all in. Hi, welcome in. Thank you for saying hi. So, what questions do you all have? Let me know if you have questions or comments on this topic. Is it helpful? Is there something that's not clear? In the UK, the winters are cold and gray. So I've been needing to romanticize it. Yeah, so you can be burdened and feel heavy by the winter, which the winter can feel heavy. It's slow. Can make us really stagnant, or we can have this like lightness about it. And wow, I get to cozy in and I get to snuggle in a blanket and pour myself a delicious hot beverage with, add your favorite, if you put like almond creamer in it or a scoop of honey, and sit by a warm fireplace and just be. Or I can experience the joy of going to the steam room at my gym and just feeling that dichotomy of walking out warm and cozy on the inside and then feeling the cool air on my skin. So feel that wonder. I would say feminine lightness is a lot about feeling wonder, feeling amazed, feeling enjoy. And like my little one, he is just in awe of everything. His eyes are opening up to everything for the first time. It's amazing. Like he just looks at any light, anything, and he's just like stares at it and takes it in and receives it. And that's a feminine lightness. That's like I'm taking it in. And babies are so in their feminine energy because they're just in flow. So I'm learning a lot from him. So some prompts here would be, what stories am I dragging with me? Because another part of this is feminine lightness is more energy in less dense matter. It's tricky because feminine energy does live in and through the body, through the senses, right? We can connect to our feminine energy through sensuality, through really smelling something, having pleasure in tasting something and getting touch. Like all of these things can really, really connect us into feminine sensuality. And that's also a gift to masculine energy. But when we're really dense in our emotional field and when we're telling ourselves story over and over again, that's creating the same emotions rather than listening to the emotions themselves, then we're a fixed identity and we're a fixed story. I'm so and so. This was my childhood growing up. I'm like this because of this. This is my personality because my parents told me this was my personality, and this is how I've acted my whole life. And I'm burdened because of this past relationship. And I mean, think of it when someone starts to get old, let's say someone who's a feminine essence being, as they get older and older and older, they start to wear burden more on their faces. You can start to see it. There's a crease of worry in the frown lines. Um, like the face almost starts to get tight and rigid and fall. There's a less of a lift, less of a lightness. There's this rigidity because, the shoulders are really tight and they're not breathing. So it's not taking these stories with us. It's actually like, yes, they were there. That was a part of the old version of me, but I don't need to keep revisiting it and feeling the emotions from that. And I don't need to bring that stuff to my current partnership. I don't need to bring that stuff to my current marriage. I don't need to bring this stuff to this conversation. Like I am new in this moment. I am I am that innocent little child who's seeing life for the first time. And in that, I'm soft and in that, I'm open. I see this rigidity with so many people in my life. It's sad. Yeah. And rigidity would be this same thing as like that soften, level 1 of my nervous system of a goddess course. So the opposite of rigidity is soft. It's not holding. It's not that tight inward. It's a relaxed open. And we can get more and more rigid the older we get because things compound. We don't process through emotions. We hang on to stuff. We hang on to resentments. We were bitter. And that's not feminine lightness. Another prompt would be, am I living in the past? Am I living in those fixed identities? Am I living in the stories that have been hard? Yes, you can be proud of overcoming certain things. You can be proud of the challenges that the challenges you've faced, what you've been through. But who are you now? Can you become fresh? Can you become in awe of your life? The next one would be, what are the heavy emotions that I refuse to feel? So what are the heavy emotions that I refuse to feel? Do you refuse to feel jealousy? Because you hate feeling jealousy. So you just shove it every time you feel it. You just don't, you're like, I'm bad for feeling this. I shouldn't be feeling this. Oh my gosh, I don't want to feel this. And you refuse it. Okay. You have to go in. You don't have to do anything. But I invite you to feel it. Refer to that other video. Go through, feel it, listen, hear it. It will clear. It'll clear out of your field. Because if you don't, then you will start to bring that with you. You'll start to be burdened with it. Your body will be burdened. Your energy will be burdened. Off topic, but your energy is so soothing, nice and soothing. Oh, I'm so glad that you feel that. And you guys, I've worked through so much emotion. Like, I'm a very emotional being. I am always working through, traumas that might come up through my body. And because of that, I feel really comfortable with clients when like stuff comes up with them because I've attended to so much. And I feel lighter because of that. I feel clearer because of that. I feel like I can bring a light energy. And I'll say that feminine energy isn't just light. We're just talking about feminine lightness in this specific video. There's definitely a feminine dark energy as well, which is really important to balance out feminine light and dark, right? The womb is completely pitch black. It's dark. And the night sky, where the moon is shining from, feminine energy. Sunset, feminine. Feminine energy is the soil underneath the earth that there's no light there. It's where life germinates from. Feminine energy is the depths of the ocean. So feminine energy, there's also dark feminine energy for sure. But right now we're touching on light energy. And light energy is more, I think, socially accepted in our society. But in general, we have an obsession with light. So, that's why I did this video about shadows a couple of days before this one, because I thought it was important to address that too. Another prompt would be, what burdens me? Oh, what burdens me right now? Like, what am I carrying on my shoulders that I just don't need to? Is it someone else's stuff? Why? Why am I carrying that? Is it guilt from something? Is it ruminating thoughts? Like, what am I carrying? What am I bringing to my relationships, to my marriage? What am I bringing to my work? I wish I could stay for the entire live, but my body is tired. I feel like I've been given such a potent message to idealize life more just by sticking around for a few minutes. Good night. Good night. I'm wrapping up too, but I'm so glad you're taking care of your body and I'm so glad you're going to sleep and I hope you have sweet dreams. So thank you for tuning in. So if there's no more questions, I'll probably just end this. Please give this video a like. Please comment. Thank you so much for following, for hitting the notification button, for subscribing, for sharing my content. I absolutely love YouTube. I love connecting with all of you. If you want to connect more, I have an Instagram broadcast channel. The link is in the descriptions. If you scroll down to the connect with me, I also have a text list, which I'm going to try to start using more this year. I am on Threads, so I've been enjoying sharing on Threads. I have Instagram. I don't share too much on that, but I would love to hear from you. I love connecting with all of you. You're the reason that I come on and I share. I'm a human design projector. I love guiding energy. I love answering questions. I love interacting with all of you. So I don't just like to come and talk to, hear my own voice. I love to share ideas and to bounce ideas off of you all. So thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next one.